Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadamtikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sangrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Brindabaneshwari Rushavano Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktarunda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Canto 3, Chapter 7, Text 27. Vidura, being satisfied with Krishna Katha, not just be satisfied, actually he has a lot of inquiries. He puts to Maitreya, and Maitreya answers them so wonderfully. Of course, in between the discussion, Vidura says, my mind is getting very disturbed. Can you please clarify this $1 million question everyone has, which is about how does the God interacts with these things very opposite to his nature, and then the soul also, I cannot understand how the soul is getting entangled in this material world, especially with the super soul accompanying him. And Maitreya answers them. When Maitreya answers, Vidura just he gets into a different state of mind and starts pouring out all the questions he has. Actually, in this section, he says at the end, actually, I don't even know which one is good and which one is not good. Please explain me everything which I know and which I don't know for my benefit. So he's in the flow of ecstasy, and we have started like 2 days back. Shivala Prabhu and Krishna Kishore Prabhu started off the previous verses. Today's verse is text 27. So that verse says, Tiryan Manusha Devanam Sarisrupa Patatrinam Vedana Sarga Samyoham Garbha Sveda Dvija Udbidam Tiryan Manusha Devanam Sarisrupa Patatrinam Vadana Sarga Samyoham Garbha Sveda Dvijodbudam. Just a high level meaning of this verses. Basically, in this verse, Uddhava is asking, can you please tell the different categories of people I'm seeing here? There are like, subhumans and humans and devatas, Tiriyan, Manusha, Devana, and then Sarisrupa, Patatrina, birds and reptiles and so on. And Vedana, Sarga, Samyuham, different generations. And then he says, there are this, I also see living entities taking in birth in different ways. Garbha, Sveda, Dvija, Udbidam. So can you please tell about them? So that's the idea of this verse. We'll recite this verse again 2 times. Tiryan Manusha Devanam Saris Rupa Patatrinam Vadana Sarga Samyuham Garbha Sveda Dvija Udbidam. Anyone wants to recite this? Like to recite this verse in a position? Recite this verse.
Share the screen, Prabhu, or you are using the different device? Huh?
I'm not sharing the screen, Prabhu. Let me share it then. My computer has been a little slow this morning. Okay. Yeah. Tiryan Manusha Devanam Saris.
Yeah, I will open. Tiriyan Manusha Devanam Sariskrupa Pata Trinam Patat Trinam Vadana Sarga Samyuham Garbha Sveda Dijodbidam.
Okay.
Tiriyan Manushadevanam Sarisrapa Padatrinam Vadana Sarga Samyuham Garpa Sveda Dijodhidam.
That's all right. So we go to the word-to-word meanings. Tiryak, subhuman. Manusha, human beings. Devanam, of the supreme human being or demigods. Sarisrupa, reptiles. Patatrina, of the birds. Vada, kindly describe. Naha, unto me. Sarga, generation. Samyuham, specific divisions. Garbha, embryonic. Sveda, perspiration. Dvija, twice born. Udbidam, of the plants, etc. Translation. Also, please describe the living beings under different classifications. Subhumans, humans, those born of the embryo, those born of perspiration, those who are twice born birds, and the plants and vegetables. Kindly describe their generations and subdivision as well. It is nice, no? Like, it is very fascinating to me when Krishna created this material world. He just creates with three modes of nature. We will mute Sandhya Mataji. He just creates with 3 modes of nature. That's it. He had this undivided prakriti, and then he sends this soul and karma and their swabhava. That's it. The prakriti gets divided, and further, gets divided mainly into goodness and then passion, ignorance, and further transformation. He just does this with 3 modes. That's it. And in this section, Vidura is bringing, there are people, living entities taking birth in these 4 different ways. That is through Garbha, which is through embryo, which is which is in human beings take birth through that way, and then Sveda, perspiration, just by sweating, living entities takes birth, and Dvija, which is the birds, they take birth from the egg, and Udbidam, you have the seed and put it in the ground, and then that's it. The plant comes up and grows into a big tree. So it's very nice questions Buddha is putting forward. And this was specifically, uh, proves out the theory that people are products of this material nature. The theory, the theory that it's not true, that people think that everything born in this material world is from the metal, from the metal nature, right? So, Srila Prabhupada quotes this example very vividly in the 14th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, when Krishna says, Mama yonir mahat brahma tasmin garbham dadamyaham sambhava sarvabhutana tato bhavati bharata. It says, I am the one, arranging all this impregnation into the Brahman and so on. And there Prabhupada gives example. I'll read this paragraph. Prabhupada says, it gives example of the scorpion. He says, the scorpion lays its egg in pile of rice, and sometimes it is said that the scorpion is born out of rice. But the rice is not the cause of the scorpion. Actually, the eggs were laid by the mother. Similarly, metal nature is not the cause of the birth of the living entities. The seed is given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and they only seem to come out as products of metal nature. Thus, living entities, according to his past activities, has a different body created by this metal nature, so that they can enjoy or suffer according to his past deeds. The Lord is the cause of all manifestations of living entities in this material world. Nice, no? Uh, so this is the beauty part of Srimad Bhagavatam. I always appreciate. Just brings Krishna out of the matter. And it is so nice, like this part where like Vidura is probing, which is going to be answered in rest of the cantos. So brings out, yes, I'm seeing this in a not just seeing. Actually, we all think, we are the product of this metal nature. Nobody thinks that we are the spirit soul. Even if you think it is very periphery. But through this discussion of these sadhus, Maitreya and Vidura, and presented by Srimad Bhagavatam, it's going to come out so nicely that it's Krishna. Let me read this purport from the 5th canto, 18th chapter, 32-32nd verse, where 3582. Okay, let me open it. 5th canto, 18th chapter, 32 verse, where Nagapatnis are offering prayers to Kurma. Yeah. They also say similar thing here. They are telling to the Lord, my dear Lord, you have different manifestations, but at the end of the day, you are one. It's all from you. So he says, Jarayujam, one born from the womb, Svedajam, which is from the perspiration, Andaja, then from the eggs, Udbidam, one born from the earth, Characharam, Devarshi, Pitru, Bhutam, Indriyam, moving stationary and not stationary, and then Devatas, Pitrus, Bhutam, Indriyam, all the senses. Dvav kam Kshiti, Saila, Sarit, Samudra. Dvav means the higher planetary system, comes sky and earthly planets, hills and mountains, Samudra, Dvipa, Graharsheti, Abidya, Ekaha. So they're all named as different things, but they are telling they're all one. The translation says, my dear Lord, you manifest your different energies in countless forms as living entities born from wombs, from eggs, and from perspiration, and as plants and trees that grow out of earth, as all living entities both moving and standing, including the demigods, the learned sages, and the Pitas, and as outer space, as higher planetary system containing heavenly planets, planet Earth with its rivers, hills, seas, ocean, islands. Indeed, all the stars and planets are simply manifestations of your different energies. But originally, you are one without a second. Therefore, nothing beyond you. The entire cosmic manifestation is therefore not false, but is simply a temporary manifestation of your inconceivable energy. Making sense? So the people have these different desires. I want to be Devata, or I want to be animal, or I want to be a bird, and so on. And Krishna already explained in the Bhagavad Gita, saying that it's based on your desire and deserve, based on how much you deserve. So if one deserves to become a Devata, then they put into this technology of taking birth from the egg. And then if one wants to be a tree and so on, then that's put in technology of udbidam, germinating from the seeds. So Prabhupada very nicely explains this purport here in I will read the second paragraph. First paragraph basically says, Krishna's energy are not illusion, they're real but temporary. So the second paragraph, Prabhupada says, the different kinds of living entities coming from various sources are very clearly described in this verse. Some are born from womb, and some, like insects, from human perspiration. Others hatch from eggs, and still others sprout from the earth. A living entity takes birth under different circumstances according to his past activities karma. Although the body of the living entity is material, it is never false. No one will accept the argument that since a person's material body is false, murder has no repercussions. So our temporary bodies are given to us according to our karma, and we must remain in our given bodies to enjoy the pains and pleasures of life. Our body cannot be called false. They are only temporary. In other words, the energy of the Supreme Lord is permanent as the Lord himself, although his energy sometimes manifest and sometimes not. As summarized in the Vedas, Sarvam Govidam Brahma. Everything is Brahman. So that's it, devotees. We can no more think. At least we may think by habit, but scriptures and association sadhus are saying we are not products of this material nature, but are spiritual and are all manifestation of the different energies of the Lord, energy of the Lord in different ways. He's so brilliant that he does it. Actually, I share this thing. When I was reading about Mahavishnu, I couldn't remember where it is, somewhere in the second canto, third canto. He's called adventurer, Urukrama. And the reason he is adventurer is souls, they only have the power to dream or desire. That's all. The example Prabhupada gives is, souls, they desire, they see that there is gold, and they see that there is a mountain, and then they dream of having a gold mountain. So here Mahavishnu is said to be adventurer because he's just been busy trying to manifest all these dreams into real. So that's the beauty of Vishnu. So I'm just sitting in front of a water pond here, and then there is this ducks, and they're having a nice time. How in the water they're just going peacefully. So like that, like everybody have their desire, like I want to play in the water, and this specific body in a specific situation and so on. And that's it. We were given this body in different technology, whether it's by egg, birth from egg, or from perspiration, or from embryo, or from directly sprouting. So there is one more reference. Lord Shiva also in Rudra Gita, he was bringing this up in the 64th text. He says, My dear Lord, after creating by your own potencies, you enter within the creation in 4 kinds of forms. Being within the heart of the living entities, you know them and know how they are enjoying the senses. But the so-called happiness of this material creation is exactly like the bee's enjoyment of honey after it has been collected in the honeycomb. So, what's the problem with this with the taking these different bodies, and nicely Krishna is facilitating, right? Um, Here, Lord Shiva is telling they, of course, they're desiring to have a duck body or a plant body or a human body or devata body, and they're getting it by your by your potency and by your presence. That's what Prabhupada explains, that matter itself cannot do anything. So the soul and super soul has to join the matter. So then we got our desires fulfilled. But Lord Shiva is telling the happiness from that fulfillment is exactly like the bee's enjoyment of honey after it has been collected in the honeycomb. Further, Prabhupada explains there, uh, explains in the purport that bees, when they're enjoying the honey, they're not exclusively enjoying the sweetness of the honey, but they are also suffering. Because the reason they are suffering is, uh, the reason they're suffering is when they are trying to enjoy the honeycomb, they bite each other. So I will read this one paragraph, last paragraph from that verse. It's from the Rudra Gita, 64th verse. Prabhupada says, thus, the Lord simply witnesses and gives the living entity sanction for sense enjoyment. It is the Paramatma also who gives intelligence by which bees can construct a hive, collect honey from various flowers, store it, and enjoy it. Although Paramatma is aloof from the living entities, he knows their intentions and he gives them facilities by which they can enjoy or suffer the results of their actions. So human society is exactly like a beehive. For everyone is engaged in collecting honey from various flowers or collecting money from various sources and creating large empires for common enjoyment. However, after these empires are created, the bites of other nations have to be suffered. Sometimes nations declare war upon another, and human beehives become source of misery. Although human beings are creating their beehives in order to enjoy the sweetness of their senses, they're at the same time suffering from the bites of other persons or nations. The Supreme Personality Godhead, as Paramatma, is simply witnessing all these activities. The conclusion is that both the Supreme Lord and the Jivas enter into material world. However, Paramatma, or Supreme Personality Godhead, is worshipable because he has arranged for the happiness of the living entity in the material world. Because it is the material world, however, no one can enjoy any kind of happiness without inebriety. Material enjoyment means inebriety, whereas spiritual enjoyments means pure enjoyment under the protection of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's it, dear Prabhujis and Matajis. This is the beauty of our scriptures. This set of questions by Vidura also correlates with the set of questions by Parshit Maharaj in second canto. So we know that Parshit Maharaj asked in the initial set of questions to Sukadeva Goswami, what is the prime duty or what is the duty of everyone in general? And when Sukadeva Goswami gives the answer, he puts further questions. It's a similar theme, like how Vidura goes. So Parshit Maharaj gets like ecstatic. In this chapter, Vidura tells that, okay, all my doubts are cleared. My mind is just getting into it, getting into becoming Krishna conscious. And he's putting forward all these questions. We also have to note that he, in the 6th chapter, when he was asking some questions, not 6th chapter, in the 5th chapter, I believe. Yeah, 4th chapter, 5th chapter. When he's putting forward the questions to Maitreya, he tells, I don't want the technology. I just want Krishna Katha. He tells, I already knew all the technology from my father Vyasdev. So please bring out the Krishna Katha. And then now he's asking all these questions about technology. And he is going to also put the disclaimer at the end of the chapter saying that, please keep it Krishna conscious. The reason for my asking is Krishna consciousness. So it is a beautiful section, which is relatable to us, like, how the material nature is what we are interacting with, and all these wonderful sages are bringing Krishna out of it. So the way Krishna is coming out is the beautiful arrangement he does in one part, like of the process of birth in these 4 different species, and 4 different ways, not a species, 4 different ways. And the reason it was does is because soul was wanting. This question was already covered in the beginning verses of this chapter. Vidura, when Vidura asked Maitreya, how is it that this soul, this consciousness can never be covered? He says, like, avabodha atma, like that. And then how is it that he gets into the material situation? He gets into the material situation. It is really makes sense, right? Like, how this is also a common question from everyone. How did the spirit soul from the spiritual world come to this world? So that was very nicely answered by Maitreya, saying that it's nothing but just the identification. The soul. It's an interesting fact I was finding out when I'm reading this chapter. Krishna doesn't have a problem to give different bodies when we are spiritual. Like when Krishna comes to this world, he comes in his internal potency and he takes different forms. It doesn't matter which form he wants to take. And the same freedom is there for the souls as well. Why Krishna has to do this material way is so our favorite souls have their special desire to do it in an indirect way or in the form of misidentification. If they say, like, I want to become a devata, I want to become a human from a spiritual body, no problem. It's just like, it's just like that. The soul already has the capability, but soul says, no, I want to have that specific body. I want to be fully into it. And then Krishna arranges this different ways of taking birth and the different situations. And soul doesn't stop there. He goes to the pain and he tries to fix the problem. For fixing the problem, he changes situation or takes a different body and different body. Okay, let me, okay, when you're a bee, there is a pain, someone is biting. Maybe let me become a tree. Even if someone bites, I will not feel the pain, and so on. Like, maybe after becoming the tree, I'm not able to move. I want to fly, so let me become a bird, and so on. It's going on. And but the Prabhupada is explaining in this purport, and also Maitreya Muni also brought it up. By devotion service, one can be saved from this false identification, foolishly going towards a false identification. And Vidura says, for sure it is possible. By the association of a personality like you, by serving your lotus feet, it is possible. Like that, at the Bhagavata Sevaya, that verse is there, right? 3:7:27. Yat Sevaya Bhagavata Kutastasya Madhudvisha Rati Raso Bhavet Tevra Padayor Vyasanardanaha. This is like an addiction. Our engagement in this material world is like a vyasana, addiction, but it can be just taken away by experiencing Rati Raso Bhavet Tivra Rati Raso. Prabhupada says is a transcendental ecstasy in service to the personality of Godhead. Padayor, by the message of spiritual master, one gets this opportunity to serve personality of Godhead. And then one feels the ecstasy That's it. All this drama will get done. That's it. Dear devotees, 8 o'clock. You want to say anything? Please share something about Srimad Bhagavatam and Srimad Bhagavatas. Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Back again tomorrow.
Thank you, Prabhu. I think, yeah, I think when you started the class, you talked about people, it's very difficult to even, I mean, empirically people may know, I mean, theoretically people, we may know that we are not the body, we are the soul, but acting on that platform is, I mean, at my stage, it's nearly impossible.
Yeah.
We'll not even do that. I mean, right? It's like very, very difficult. It's not easy. I mean, though many times we know we are not this body, and based on so much I mean
Yeah.
knowledge that we are getting through the scriptures, but
Yeah.
when the activity comes, it's very hard to act
Yeah.
on the form of the soul.
Yeah.
I was just thinking that then the other one, I mean about Vidura asking Maitreya. So actually, we were discussing on Sunday, I think, with Sri Prabhu. Anything related to the Lord. I mean, of course, why Parikshit Maharaj is asking, or why Vidura is asking these questions about the creation and all those things. I mean, of course, it looks like it's a lot of technical. I mean, of course, it is technical, but it's related to the Lord, right? So, I mean, relation to the Supreme Lord. So it is a transcendental, but how much we can get it from there, I mean, it's up. I mean, of course, why the whole creation is explained before we get into all the pastimes is, okay, we all heard
Mm.
about it here. So I was just thinking, I mean, how great the Supreme Lord is. I mean, uh, so this whole I mean, yeah, so I was just thinking, Prabhu, I mean, then the other question that came actually, so when it comes through somebody who is not pure enough, right? Or not pure. I mean, I don't want to say pure enough. I mean, completely like maybe Mayavadis, right? So when they talk about these details, right? It is not. I don't know. It is transcendental, but it is not transcendental. It is actually poison, right? The Prabhupada gives the
Yeah.
example of
Yeah.
Krishna mantra mixed with a
Mm.
poison. So
Mm.
how can the Mahamantra, the pastimes of the Lord, or the things related to the Lord is not poisonous, but yeah, it is going to
Mm.
act in that way for
You're
us.
correlating to that. Mm.
Yeah, I'm correlating to that. So,
Mm.
so,
Mm.
but yeah, anything related to the Lord, because that's how it is transcendental. Because otherwise, I mean, science is also talking about creation, right?
Not just related to the Lord. Here in this verse, both Lord Shiva and the Devatas, they were telling it's all spiritual.
Yeah.
Like, oops.
Mm. Thank you. Can you hear me? My internet problem.
Yeah, sorry, Prabhu.
Oh, you're in, okay. I thought my internet problem. Okay. Okay.
So it's all spiritual. That's so nice. Like, that's what Prabhupada is giving the example of the scorpion.
Yeah.
Scorpion is coming out of the rice
Rice.
and thinks like I'm proud of this rice. But Krishna himself is telling the karbam dadamyaham
Mm.
and so on. It is so nice, like um, when we go to the 87th chapter of prayers by the Vedas personified, that's what they do. They propose all these different theories, and then he said, but at the end of the day, they say, it's all you, people with love, people who have whose eyes are anointed with love. They can see you as even not even just as a god or something like that. They can see you as Sham Sundara in this matter.
Mm.
They refutes all the philosophies, what people, basically all the philosophies of nothing, but they don't go until Krishna. Like, for example, and then the scorpion is coming out of rice, they say rice is absolute truth, or the rice vessel is absolute truth, like that. They cannot go until Krishna,
Yeah.
and they say whatever they come to conclusion, they say this is the absolute truth, this is the param satyam, like that. And when they do it like that, obviously it has all the fallacies and all those things, and then people cannot really get it. So, but they say like, the Vedas personified. They say, actually, it is you. Where Prabhupada is telling Sarvam Kovidam Brahma. Yeah, I was also relating to the initial comment you made. I was trying to practice this yesterday. Misidentification. Oh, this is it. It makes sense really, because the reason we are going on and on and is just identification. There is pain and pleasure, and then we identify with it. If we are feeling pleasure, then we go and do it more.
Yeah.
If there is a pain, then then you do it in a different way, the fixing and all those things. I was trying to practice. Yeah, it's practice wise. Momentary was nice, but it was not easy to keep up. But the solution is nice. And what Maitreya Muni was giving the solution, as a devotion service to the personal through spiritual master, it just makes sense, in the sense like the soul is fully in the mental consciousness, and he cannot connect to Krishna, who is fully spiritual. But then there is medium spiritual master comes, and then with the help and hand of spiritual master, the spiritualization is taking by default very easily. So that's the application. Like, hold on to spiritual master through the help. Spiritual master, when I say spiritual master, it doesn't need to be like a sannyasi, uttamadhikari, and so on. We need to have someone who can guide us to in spiritual. We need to have someone who are inspiring us in spiritual consciousness. When we have that help, zoom, yasanadanaha, it is possible to get away. Right, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. But any case, we will hang on to Bhagavatam strongly and strongly. And we also have Bhadra Purnima coming up. We have this goal of 400 sets. Just we can take, 10 sets as a goal. That's how we spiritualize ourselves. Or we are doing service to Krishna and Guru and Krishna, Srila Prabhupada and Krishna, and so on. So just in our consciousness can be saved from this misidentification. And if it happens, if you're able to distribute 10 sets, that's ecstasy. Rati, Rasa, Bhave, Tivra. We get to experience that ecstasy. And then we want to do it more and more and more. And through that, we will get away from this vyasana of misidentification, addiction to the misidentification. Any case, so that's coming up. It's nice. Yeah. Okay, Prabhu. That's it, Prabhu. We go. Okay, Prabhuji and Mataji, thank you for your blessed association. Please bless me a drop of your Krishna consciousness. I'm very much needed. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Bye-bye.
Hare Krishna.